First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
We begin with breaking news on the roadway. The Gilmerton Bridge closed through rush hour.
Jumper 10 is giving you a live view right now of this Chesapeake Bridge. There it is, stuck in the open position. VDOT says a power outage is to blame, and divers are in the water assessing the extent of the damage.
Now, if you know someone who takes the Gilmerton Bridge home, give them a call and warn them to take an alternate route, maybe the high-rise bridge or the downtown tunnel. For almost 20 years, Paul Riddick has served on Norfolk City Council.
Well, today, he could lose his business because the federal government claims he failed to pay nearly $250,000 in back taxes. 10 on your side's Andy Fox is here to tell us what's going on, Andy.
Tom and Nicole, a big story. In this civil lawsuit right here, the feds claim the controversial councilman, Paul Riddick, owes $246,000 in back taxes and penalties. We caught up with the councilman to find out what he has failed to do over the years.
It wasn't unexpected. I knew I had these difficulties.
Difficulties, for sure. According to the federal complaint, the claim shows Riddick failed to pay thousands of dollars in federal taxes, over $195,000 in employment taxes since 2003, $27,000 unemployment taxes since 1998, $23,000 in penalties. Total, about $246,000 owed to the federal government.
You dispute the numbers, though.
I do.
It is a civil matter and not a criminal matter.
Right.
It's not jail time or anything like that.
I don't know. You never can know with the federal government.
The U.S. Attorney's Office says no jail time can result from what amounts to a foreclosure on Riddick Funeral Services.
Is your business going to close down?
No.
Is it going to go into foreclosure?
No.
Riddick said he needs to negotiate some of the tax charges, hoping some will be forgiven, and he will need a repayment plan. He says he takes full responsibility, and he will take care of it.
Can you just tell us how this happened, how it accumulated over the years?
Just like banks and all that, you know, not being cynical, but just like other businesses in this country had difficulties, I've had difficulties.
He also has an explanation coming up tonight at 6 on exactly how all of this happened. I asked Riddick what specifically led to his inability to pay federal taxes, and I'll have that part of the story tonight at 6. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
Councilman Riddick has been on Norfolk City Council since 1992.
A problem with 911 in Newport News has been fixed. At one point, the city's communications center could not get wireless 911 calls from Verizon cell phones, but once again, that problem has been fixed. Virginia Beach Elementary School students and their parents may get a lesson in flexibility. School officials are proposing a redistricting, a move that would ease overcrowding at some schools and better utilize space at others. Tune in to WAVY News 10 tonight at 6 and hear which schools will be affected and how you can voice your opinion. Get ready to bundle up.
Break out those boots again. Temperatures are dropping. We started the day in the 60s, but tonight, temps could be down in the 20s.
Ooh.
Wow. 10 on your side, Chief Meteorologist Don Slater is in the Super Doppler 10 Weather Center with details. Say it isn't so, Don.
It is so, and you can feel it already. Temperatures today drop like a rock first thing this morning, and then slowly rose on up to around 50 during the afternoon, and they're starting to drop again tonight. And we'll drop on down into the 20s overnight, as you said, likely low 20s, even into some inland areas. And you can just tell by the look of the sky. Skies are mostly clear. The air is very, very dry, and temperatures are dropping. Now, 60 degrees early this morning, dropped to 57, oh boy, at 6 o'clock in the morning. However, by 8 o'clock, 48, then 49 at 10 noon, 50. And that was basically our high temperature for the afternoon hours, into the early afternoon, right around 50. And it's dropped on down into the mid-40s as of 4 o'clock, and that's pretty much where it is right now, around 44 degrees. Same for Newport News, dropped from 56 to 48, rose to a high of around 50. We're starting to see our temperatures dropping again, and they're going to resume their drop overnight. Light winds, dry air. 22 well inland, 29 degrees near the shoreline overnight. Normal temperatures coming up for tomorrow. We'll tell you about our chilly weather and some more action for the weekend. That'll be coming up in our forecast in a few minutes.
While we're talking about weather, wind can be perfect fuel for flames. Here's evidence from reported at WAVY.com. These pictures from Chesapeake come from a viewer. You're looking at last night's fire on Sunset Maple Lane in the Deep Creek area. Cars in the driveway and the grass around the home caught fire. And then the siding next door also melted. A woman and 2 children got out unharmed, but 2 dogs died. The cause is still under investigation.
A robbery suspect got more than he bargained for when the clerk started swinging in a convenience store holdup. Police say it happened around 6:30 Monday night at the Bay Food Mart on Granby Street in Norfolk. Detectives say when the suspect reached for money in the register, the clerk knocked him down. The suspect eventually ran off with the cash. Police have not made any arrests.
More local sailors are out to sea. The USS Elrod got underway this morning for a scheduled 6-month deployment in the Caribbean and the waters around South America. The guided missile frigate will conduct counter-trafficking operations. You're going to hear from the commander about this mission. More details coming up tonight on WAVY News 10 at 6. And local Coast Guard crews had to deal with some pretty high seas and wind during a rescue off the North Carolina coast. It was a tough one. The call for help came Friday from the ocean wave because of a sick crew member. They were in the ocean about 200 miles east of Elizabeth City at the time. The wind, it was blowing more than 45 miles an hour. They had swells more than 20 feet tall at the time of the rescue, and you're getting a look at it now. Crews airlifted a 55-year-old man to dry land, and then he was transferred to Centerra Norfolk General.
The search for survivors of the Italian cruise ship disaster is in a holding pattern now. The huge wreck shifted overnight, making it unsafe for divers to search for the missing. 11 people are confirmed dead so far, 21 missing. A German woman who was on the missing list turned herself in to her local police station in Germany. She got off the ship and returned home. The ship's captain, Francesco Schettino, is still under house arrest in Naples. He admits he took the ship off course before it ran aground. At first, the captain insisted he stayed on board the ship while it was being evacuated, but a recorded conversation with the Port Authority official shows the official repeatedly ordering the captain to get back on the ship. Schettino later said he tripped and fell into a lifeboat. Prosecutors are expected to file charges of manslaughter and abandoning ship. The Italian cruise ship disaster has a lot of people wondering if it's a safe form of travel. We're on your side with what you need to do to prepare for your trip tonight on WAVY News 10 at 5:30. Remember, you can see the latest developments on this story, including photos and a Twitter feed on WAVY.com.
Decision 2012, the Republican loyalty oath is being removed from March's presidential primary ballot in Virginia. A Republican Party committee voted to reverse its December decision to place the GOP pledge on the ballot. Democrats and many Republicans criticized this binding oath to voters to support the eventual GOP nominee. They called it unenforceable, unconstitutional, and unappealing to a party that's trying to win public support. Only 2 Republicans, former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney and Texas Governor Ron Paul, qualified for Virginia's March 6th primary.
Police cracking down on violent crimes. Find out which cities are seeing lower crime rates. New at 5:30.
An online protest. The number of websites went offline to send a message to Congress. Local reaction to the blackout and the legislation behind it.
A new cancer drug could speed up the growth of another form of cancer. We'll tell you about the research next.
And we continue to follow breaking news in Chesapeake. Some developments here. A live picture from Chopper 10 shows one side of the Gilmerton Bridge now down.
All right, some progress there because that bridge was stuck open. Crews continue to work there. We'll keep you posted.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Ribas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Federal inspectors say they found hundreds of blood safety violations at nearly half of the Red Cross collection centers across the country. Those violations include ineffective donor screening and failure to add new donors with infected blood to the national list of deferred donors. The FDA says the violations, while serious, did not compromise the nation's blood supply. The Red Cross received more than $9 million fine. The organization says it's already taken steps to address those issues.
And file this one under unintended consequences. A drug used to treat melanoma can actually accelerate the growth of another form of skin cancer. Researchers at UCLA found that the drug Zelboraf triggers skin cells with certain mutations to quickly develop into a secondary skin cancer. Most patients had these secondary tumors removed surgically and then stayed on the drug. Doctors are working to prevent the new cancers from developing in the future. The new research is in the New England Journal of Medicine.
States that legalize medical marijuana say a 9% drop. They saw a 9% drop in traffic deaths. That's a result of a research by a group of University of Colorado professors. The study says alcohol consumption appears to play a key role. There seemed to be a drop in alcohol use by young adults in states where the use of medical marijuana is legal. Researchers say their study doesn't mean it's safer to drive stoned than drunk, though. Instead, they say increased medical marijuana use at home might change patterns of substance abuse while driving. 16 states and D.C. have legalized marijuana's medical use.
Well, the TSA says it was disguised as a hairbrush. We're going to show you the weapon agents say they found in a carry-on bag of a passenger at a Virginia airport.
We can tell you the follow breaking news out of Chesapeake for you. The Gilmerton Bridge stuck open. VDOT expects the crossing to be closed through rush hour, but one part of it has been open. We just told you a few moments ago. Gilmerton Bridge closed through rush hour, that is.
And Shopper 10 is giving you a view here. VDOT says a power outage caused this problem. Divers are in the water right now. They're trying to assess, can't say the word, the extent of the damage here, but again, one part looks like it's partway down.
Yeah, they're working on that there. So if you know somebody who uses that Gilmerton Bridge, a lot of folks who travel to the Deep Creek area of Chesapeake use that, just give them a call, warn them, take another route if they're not already stuck in traffic because of that. Now, if you've been surfing the internet today, you may have noticed some of your favorite sites look a little different.
And you may have gotten blacked out, depending on where you were online. Google, Wikipedia. Part of a nationwide petition against two bills in Congress, and you're looking at the effect right there. The bills are meant to protect copywritten material, but some say they infringe on the freedom of speech. Then on your sides, Ann McNamara has a look at what we're talking about here. Pretty powerful message, Ann.
It is, Tom. This isn't a hacked website. This is Google today. And if you see, I've put my mouse around the black part and it says, tell Congress, please don't censor the web. So we spoke to one of the associate deans at ECPI University today to explain to us how the bills these websites are protesting could affect how we use the internet. It's a dark day on the World Wide Web. Some of the most popular sites, Google, Wikipedia, Craigslist, Reddit, blacked out for 24 hours to protest two pieces of legislation. SOPA, the Stop Online Privacy Act, and PIPA, the Protect Intellectual Property Act. The two target foreign websites that make money from pirated content.
Well, there definitely is a need for something for this. People are pirating music, as they've been doing since Napster. People are pirating movies on torrent sites. People are taking content, whether they be images or text, out of sites and profiting off those.
Jerry White, an associate dean of academic technology at ECPI University, tells us the attempt to control overseas sites could control how we share.
You put up a logo of your favorite football team, and if that's on there and it's on their server, then they could take down Facebook if it's on Facebook's server.
Instead of punishing individual users, SOPA and PIPA call for the entire site to be shut down. Some say it's censorship, hence the blackout. And just this week, the Obama administration posted this on its blog. Quote, we will not support legislation that reduces freedom of expression, increases cybersecurity risk, or undermines the dynamic, innovative global internet. If SOPA and PIPA become law, sites with pirated content will stop showing up in American search engine results. And if you try to pay for pirated content through systems like PayPal, the money simply won't go through.
And they're really afraid of what something like this could lead to, you know, how far it could possibly go, you know, what can they make illegal next.
So the goal of these two bills is to protect copywritten materials, and both sides agree that is critically important. The question, though, is at what cost? For now, I'm Ann McNamara, 10 on your side.
And the Senate is scheduled to vote on PIPA, as it's called, this coming Tuesday. The other bill, SOPA, is expected to pass in committee and will go before the House in March. You'll find an entire section devoted to anti-piracy legislation and the protests on WAVY.com. There's an explainer looking at the Stop Online Piracy Act, the most recent headlines, a live Twitter feed, photo slideshow, and a poll. Nothing blacked out here. We've also added links to get in touch with elected officials.
A snowstorm closed schools, canceled flights, and caused accidents in parts of Washington state. Drivers had to deal with icy and snow-packed roads during the morning rush hour. Look at that car struggling there. Forecasters say the snowfall could break records there. Whew. That's what happens in Washington State, though, huh?
And what happens in Hampton Roads? Anything in January
really.
when it comes to the weather.
Everybody's talking about how this weather's just been so up and down and just weird.
And it's weird today.
Yeah.
It's weird today because this morning, before I got up anyway, I work until midnight, so I don't get up at 7. But around 7, it was 58, 60 degrees, and
like
the temperatures have been dropping all day long, and they're going to continue to drop. Now, they rose for a little while during the height of the afternoon, but right now they're dropping. Here's a look at Super Dot 10 Live. There is no rainfall whatsoever, and we're not really expecting any rain in the short run, but there's something that's kind of fun on here that I'll show you. The radar, we've got several radars on here. Notice this little beam right there? What's going on with that is as the radar goes around, what it's doing, it's catching the setting sun on the horizon right there. So sometimes this time of day, well, oftentimes this time of day, we'll see that little spike right there where it's pointing right at the setting sun, and it's getting some radiation off of it, and it ends up with just that little spike. But anyway, that's just something curious on the radar. Cold overnight as far as cloud cover. Yep, we've had some off and on. Outer Banks, you've still got some. A little bank of cloud cover in the Piedmont area to the west of the Richmond area. You can see some snow on off into the mountains, but again, nothing real big for us. We'll see a little cloud cover overnight, but it'll be mostly just thin cloud cover, and we'll end up with a lot of sunshine tomorrow. Some cloud cover in the afternoon hours tomorrow. 5 to 10 mile an hour winds at the end of the day tomorrow. Will be in the upper 40s, low 50s for the day tomorrow, which is pretty close to normal. The normal high temperature this time of year is 47 degrees. We're going to end up with that pretty close to that for tomorrow. Might be a degree or two above that for Friday. Even with this cool front dropping through, we'll see a westerly breeze, and a westerly breeze as the air descends out of the mountains, it tends to warm on up just a tad. So again, it'll be a couple of degrees actually warmer during the day on Friday, but you'll note a couple of stray showers developing right into here, but they're just sprinkles, nothing real big. Skies mostly clear right now, but you can just kind of tell because of the coloring of the sunset. The air is very nice and dry, and it's chilly out there. Temperatures rose up for a little while in the afternoon. Then we saw a little brief burst of wind, and now temperatures are dropping on down. 40 to 43 degrees. Our low is our current reading, 43. High today was 61, but that was overnight. Obviously, overnight it stayed warm with some rain. Then during the day today, just temperature dropping for the most part. 42, then 46 in Chesapeake and Suffolk. And again, there's the story of those temperatures into the low 60s overnight, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning, 57. And it was 46 as of 4 o'clock. And of course, this hour, it's at 43 degrees. So again, the temperatures have been dropping pretty steadily, and they're going to continue to drop overnight. Again, mostly into the low to mid 40s right now. And there's some even colder air off to the west, and that colder air is going to slowly filter on in, and we'll see temperatures drop on down into the 20s overnight. Now, yes, this is cold, 26, 28, surrounded by water at Nag's Head, 34. It's cold, but remember a couple of mornings ago, it was 18 degrees. So yeah, cold. It'll be a cold start to the day as the kids head on off to school, or you head on off to work tomorrow morning into the mid to upper 20s for the most part. But again, we'll recover nicely for the day tomorrow. May see a few clouds at the end of the day. Highs around 48 to 49 degrees, 50 degrees on Friday. A little more cloud cover. By Saturday, we're looking at a good chance of rain. That could last into Saturday night and Sunday. Another shot at some rain by Monday night and Tuesday. Again, chilly the next couple of days, warming up though nicely for the weekend.
A disturbing discovery.
While the dogs were playing with it, at some point the object came out of the bag.
What 2 dog walkers found during a hike near the Hollywood sign.
A big piece of American history hits the silver screen this weekend. Tonight, we talk with one of the original Tuskegee Airmen about that film and why he thinks it took so long to make at 5:30. Well, some people trying to beat airport security are getting a little more creative. The TSA says a passenger had a ceramic dagger disguised as a hairbrush in her carry-on bag. Agents in Lynchburg stopped the woman Sunday when they detected this blade. The dagger was several inches long, as you can see. The woman surrendered the weapon and was not arrested. And the TSA says a woman got through security at Dallas-Fort Worth International. Problem was, agents spotted an image of a gun in the woman's bag. She apparently left the checkpoint before her screening was complete, and the terminal was shut down until police could catch up with her.
The White House was locked down after someone tossed a smoke bomb over the fence. It happened last night as more than 1,000 Occupy D.C. protesters marched from the Capitol building to the White House. Hazmat crews and fire trucks responded. No one was hurt. President and Mrs. Obama were out to dinner at the time. Police cleared out the protesters. The Secret Service says there were no arrests. Hikers made a gruesome discovery near the Hollywood sign. 2 people walking 9 dogs called police after the animals ran into the brush and started playing and shaking a plastic bag.
2 of the dogs began to play with a bag and what appeared to be an object. While the dogs were playing with it, at some point the object came out of the bag and they discovered that it was a head, a severed head.
Police and Los Angeles coroner's investigators returned to the scene today to search for clues.
Well, the Smithsonian is playing games with its new unique exhibit profiling 40 years of history. We'll explain what it is next.
Hundreds of dogs bound for Virginia crammed inside crates and stuffed into a U-Haul. Find out how long they traveled in these tight conditions next at 5:30.
Hello, Matt. Check.
At the Smithsonian, one Game on. It's really an exhibit. The art of video games will focus on the graphics, technology, and storytelling from Atari to PlayStation 3. The public selected the 80 video games to be included in the exhibition called Of What Else? The Art of Video Games. It runs from March 16th to September 30th at the Smithsonian American Art Museum. Stay with us. WAVY News 10 at 5:30 starts right now.